Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sabrina Dhami. This is your 13 Now update. On this Monday, July 17th, we once again have an air quality alert in place for the entire state of New York. We have some pictures that were just sent in by a viewer in Bolton Landing, and you can see the haze in the distance across Lake George here. But the numbers have been changing as the day is going on. So we'll bring in Chief Meteorologist Paul Cayano to join the conversation. Paul, as we look at these pictures, it really starts to tell the story of what we're dealing with this afternoon.
It's been so bad, Sabrina, and you said the numbers have been changing. We've been watching them here in the Weather Center all morning, and they just keep going up. And now we're in the moderate range. We're borderline unhealthy for some. And again, you could look at it as a number, or you could just see with your own eyes the shots that you were showing and the live shot that you've just put up here on the CDPHP first warning cam. This is from East Greenbush. This is that beautiful skyline shot we show you all the time. Now, in between big thunderstorm events, which we had so many of, normally we get that nice deep blue sky and you get a nice day where you get that really hot sun and it looks like summer. Well, here it looks like LA from 1986. Right. Where it's just smogged in, right? I mean, you're just socked in with this haze. And not only that, today we have ozone in the air, which is combining with the wildfire smoke to cause even worse air quality, if you will. So
you said
it's kind of a double problem.
Right. You said it was unhealthy for some, Paul, but is there a number? Can you put a little more context for people who might be watching on what that exactly means?
Yeah. How about this? We're going to show you the number itself as we go through the next few hours. It'll continue to go up. So here's the air quality index right now at 95. And you can see moderate's 51 to 100. So we're right on the edge of unhealthy for some. As soon as we get to 100, we've been checking this. It updates every hour. So we'll have the new hour coming up in about 45 minutes. And there's no reason why this would go down given where our air is coming from today. And you can see the forecast for the end of the day, 151. So that puts us in the unhealthy range overall. So the air quality index will be in the range that most people will probably smell it or even taste it outside. And for those who are sensitive to such things, difficulty breathing outdoors this afternoon. Well, we do have a dry day. That's one thing. First warning, live Doppler radar is quiet. I mentioned that we're in between disturbances, starting off into the Maritimes. The next one is way out to our west. That's pivoting in later today, and it'll arrive tomorrow with another round of showers and storms. So the good news here is that we can get through an entire day and even tonight without any rain. So that's going to allow some water levels to recede. It's going to allow some saturated ground to dry out some. But you can see we have additional showers and storms, few floating by first thing tomorrow morning before the sun comes up, and then a renewed chance at more widespread showers and storms here by about 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And some of these will have heavier downpours again. So it's that cycle we're in. We get a day here, a day there of dry weather, and then we're back into the showers and thunderstorms. So in the upper 80s today with that hazy sun, hot, even humid out there. 68 tonight, partly cloudy, an isolated late night shower, but a better chance of showers and storms tomorrow with the cloud cover building. 84 for a high. 7-day planner will show other chances for showers and storms, particularly on Thursday night into Friday. Heading into the weekend right now, temperatures lower to mid 80s. And when we don't have showers and thunderstorms, it looks like the wildfire smoke will at least be somewhat of a concern, at least until the next several days. Sabrina.
You said these numbers update every hour, Paul, right? The air quality numbers?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So at 4 o'clock, we'll have, of course, the very latest numbers as they come out. Paul, thank you very much. We'll see you live at 4. We'll talk to you then. Another story we are following today, a gun shop in Washington County. A car smashed into the front of it. Some merchandise was taken from there. My colleague Dan Levy is here in the 13 Now studio here with us. And Dan, do we know what exactly was taken?
We don't know exactly what was taken, but we know what was not taken. According to state police, and this seems kind of unusual, if you break into a gun store, why would you not steal any guns? There were no firearms missing. That's according to the owners. That's according to state police. Now, it certainly conjures memories of what appears to have been going on in Washington County for the last 9 months. Calamity Jane's in Kingsbury has had 2 break-ins One last October where about 36 guns were stolen. In fact, most of those have never been recovered. And then in April of this year, I believe a teenager broke into Calamity Jane's and made off with 14 handguns. He was quickly apprehended after that, and I believe all of those handguns had been recovered. But this is kind of bizarre. Police tell me that it was quick, it was very destructive, and it was deliberate. We were up there today, and the entire front of the store just has a gaping hole in it. And there is the merchandise that was near the door is on the floor. But the guns, and we took a peek inside, were all away from where they smashed through the door. So apparently there wasn't enough time, or the alarm scared them off. We don't know why they took off, but they took off.
So we're putting that video up, Dan, right now, looking at that damage. What is the gun shop owner saying? You spoke with him. What is he saying about all of this?
Well, the gun shop owner had very little to say. Spoke briefly with the carpenters there, and they just told me about how bad the damage was and about the work they had to do. But it's inexplicable why anyone would break into a gun shop and not steal any guns. Presumably, that's why they would do that. But they went to great lengths to avoid any damage to the car. By backing in, of course, they lessen the likelihood there would be any front-end damage, which, of course, could hinder their getaway.
That leads us to believe this obviously wasn't an accident. It wasn't like a car was out of control. This was intentional and deliberate. And
it doesn't appear to be locals either, according to police. That car, it was an SUV, it was a sport Kia, and it was stolen from Schenectady earlier, just before the burglary.
All right, Dan, I know you're following this. We will talk with you more about this starting live at 4. Thank you for joining us with the update.
See you later.
We're, of course, drying out as we had to deal with more heavy rain. Look at this video. This is from Round Lake yesterday, right outside the Mill Tavern. And the water, you can see knee high for these firefighters dealing with this. We spoke with the Round Lake Fire Department today, Captain Joe Pluwinski, giving us an update on how many calls they responded to just in Round Lake yesterday, 37 calls. They didn't finish with all of the flooding calls until after 1 o'clock in the morning. We had a photographer out in Round Lake looking at where all of that flooding happened and looking at what's left behind. And he tells us that there's still some benches underwater. So meteorologist Reed Kisselback right now is planning to head out to Round Lake and show us the latest from there. And we will speak with him starting live at 4. And so we've been following closely the trial of Justin Rodriguez in Saratoga County Court. My colleague Mark Mulholland is here in the 13 Now studio. This is an interesting development you learned about today, Mark, that the judge ordered victims' supporters, Alice Bleekard, victim supporters, are not allowed to wear shirts showing their support.
No, this is an interesting case, and good afternoon, Sabrina. Yeah, the case is going on. It's a murder trial in Saratoga County Court. It's unique alone in that it's a murder trial related to a drunken driving crash. You don't often see that as it is, but the prosecution felt that Rodriguez, who has a history of convictions of drunken driving, evinced a depraved indifference to human life. So that's one of the measures for a murder charge to be brought here in New York State. But Rodriguez is being tried on murder charges in the September death of Bleekard on the Northway in Wilton. Now, prosecutors accused Rodriguez of driving drunk and crashing into and killing Bleekard, who was a tow truck driver who was helping a disabled truck along the side of the Northway. As the trial began and during Rodriguez's arraignment in February, his coworkers wore shirts saying, "Tow Lives Matter." You can see them there. And in memory of Alex. But the defense objected, saying the shirts could influence the jury. Judge Jim Murphy agreed, citing a higher court ruling that the defendant's right to a fair trial supersedes courtroom spectators' rights to free speech. The ruling hasn't, though, deterred Bleekard's friends and coworkers from attending court each day.
This is interesting because as we were talking about this in our morning meeting, you brought this up, that the idea, the right of freedom of speech in this case does not transfer to inside this courtroom for this trial.
It doesn't. That's what higher courts have ruled, that yes, we all have a right to free speech, but a courtroom is a different setting, that the most important right in a courtroom is the right to fair trial, more important than our rights to free speech.
And you've covered trials for many, many years, and we see often people wearing shirts showing support for the victim's family, for overall showing a sense of unity. And this could be the beginning of the end of that.
Yeah, you have to wonder whether going forward now we will see less and less of that.
And we'll talk more about it live at 4. Mark, thank you very much
We'll see you
for
then.
being here with us. That's your 13 Now update on this Monday afternoon. We'll leave you once again with these pictures of Lake George, the haze in the distance from Bolton Landing, as we are once again dealing with an air quality alert. We will have those latest numbers for you starting live at 4. We'll see you then.